Welcome back to the Motherhood Channel. It's always so exciting to be in conversation with you. My name is Quinn Brown Huffman.
And I'm Tonya Meeks. Have a little voice situation, but I'm the same person. We're excited to be
Same
back.
person, promise. If you
Promise.
want to see us, go to YouTube. We have a Motherhood Channel on YouTube for the visuals where we play and we have some creative work on there, but we can see one another and we will keep considering the fact that you cannot see us when you're listening to this on all the other podcast
Platforms.
places.
Yeah.
People listen. And yeah, talk about your voice, and it brings in the conversation around expectations. And I think trying to meet expectations, our kids' expectations, the world's expectations, is on us as mothers during this epic time of holiday spirit.
Yes.
It's intense. It's so intense.
It's intense and it's funny because, right before we started, I was like, maybe I just want to go to a tropical island for the week. But I actually like all the holiday events to like I'm the one that like initiates.
You do?
I do actually.
I want to run for the hills.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go to all of them. I'm like, selective, I guess, but I still go to a lot of things.
Yes, you
But I
do.
wonder if I didn't know about all the things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's because I know about them. Like, so then it's like, hi, there's a little flamingo. There's a little flamingo
There's a
making an
little
appearance.
flamenco in your hand. That's cute. So, yeah, that's a great question. What if you didn't know about anything? What would it look like? How would we then create during this time where seasons are changing and none of this really existed? So, none of the religious or Christmas expectations of our culture is put out. So let me put it this way. I grew up in South Africa, right? Right
Yeah.
now, my family is gathering, slowing down. My mom has a beautiful farm in the Cape area where we've been
Nice.
spending our Christmases. We grew up going to the beach. Now, I grew up in Johannesburg, which is 15 hours almost from the beach where we used to go. So it's a drive, it's a 2, 3 day drive expedition down to the coast where we would spend 2 to 3 weeks. And it meant we slow down. We don't spend time with doing a lot of things other than cooking. What's the next meal? Is the day nice enough to go to the beach? If we are going to give gifts, it's shells that we pick up and make for the adults, and we put up shows, get dressed up,
Oh, that's nice.
and,
Yeah,
and
like
that's
you.
that's holiday for me. Then I got married to an American.
Yes.
You guys take it to a whole nother level. It's
It really
Christmas
is.
cards to everyone you know and don't know. I don't participate in that. To everyone I love, know that I love and adore you. There's no Christmas cards coming from us. It's not happening. I tried it a few years and the stress levels it cost was just not worth my while. I appreciate all the cards. I love them. It's sweet. And I just am not succumbing to it, I guess. And the other thing that stresses me out is like the amount of gift giving. And
Yeah.
there's just this frenetic energy. I'm still learning to navigate. It's really
Yeah, well,
intense.
there is a frenetic because we were talking about it was like, well, I like going to the holiday light shows and I love going to the Sawdust Festival because they have like arts and crafts and you create things and it's beautiful. It's in Laguna Canyon. And so I love all of the nostalgic, like memory making things. Does that make sense? But then
Right.
there's a lot
It
of
does. Brian
other,
loves that. Yeah. That's
but
my family. They love it here. Yeah,
But
I
it
get
is
it.
interesting because it's like, Sparrow was asking because we went to a bunch of different tree lightings, which I don't even know why I think we need to do that because I never, this is like a new thing. Everybody has a tree lighting, like there's tree lightings everywhere. And he was like, did you go to tree lightings? I was like, no, not once did I ever see a tree lighting event with Coco. But it's interesting because it's almost like I want to be conscious and recalibrate what things I really want to be doing and what things I feel like I'm not doing it out of obligation. Like I genuinely, but also like if I really was just going to do my top 5 things, what would they be?
Right.
And maybe
What
having
would they be?
more. I really like the Sawdust Festival. So I would go to the Laguna Sawdust Festival, plug to them. It's like an amazing thing. Like you go and you can, there's like 3 different art booths and adults too. Like the crafts are for all ages. Does that make sense? So adults can create like,
It does. And you created some beautiful things. And I think it's that interactive. It sounds divine. And
it
next
actually
year
is
I'm
really
I will love
like
to join you.
pretty amazing. And everybody who puts it on is so sweet. It's the same kind of crew that's there, the same. Anyways, it's a pretty amazing thing. And I love the Hotel Del Santa skydiving, I think because it's on the beach. He skydives
Okay.
out of a plane and then there's fireworks. Um,
Wow.
it's busy, but it's not as insane as some of the other. But it is interesting because it's like I was thinking a friend of mine who lives in Oregon when she had kids, I remember we were going to visit when Sparrow was little, and she was like, we have traditions. Like my kids have the same rituals every Christmas, the same pattern. So she's like, if you're going to come, we need to know so I can prep them for this new piece. And I remember thinking, because I didn't grow up with the set of traditions or a thing that happened every year. Like we didn't do, my mom was like a wild gypsy. Like we did different things. I mean, some of the things
Yeah.
filter through every year, but there was no every year we do blah blah blah. There wasn't. So
Right.
part of my thing when I see all the events, I'm like, oh, that looks cool, that looks cool, that looks cool. And I like try them all out kind of thing
Yes.
because
Well,
I
you're
don't
trying to
know how I'm
find.
going to feel until I get there. More that's how I figure it out. And now I know like, oh, there's things I went to this year that I can just maybe not feel obligated, or I guess there is an obligation. That is funny, like a little Freudian slip. The obligation to go because I
Yeah.
don't want to miss anything. I don't want to miss the best
You don't
nostalgic
want to
event.
miss anything.
It's like
But that's
FOMO.
the
It's like
thing.
horrible
The
FOMO.
world is so full. That's the thing. The world is so full. We don't want to, the fear of missing out is real for people. And then you're overstimulated to a huge extent. I don't think we realize how stimulated we become with
Well,
all
and then
these lights and fireworks. I mean,
totally
there's nothing worse for me as a person. And people love this, and my
the
children love it,
fireworks
and Ryan
shows.
loves it. Fireworks, I hate them. I've become very clear about this. The the noise does not bring enough joy. Like I think I'm so noise sensitive, but this is personal, right? I, as a
Oh, totally.
person,
But
have a
that's for
really
you to
hard time
figure
since
out.
I was a child with it.
You
But
don't like
what I was
fireworks.
gonna say,
Sorry, like
the
talking.
fireworks. Yeah, I just, I think what I wanted to say was we don't even realize um that we do tend to start feeling obligation because of our fear of missing out. And the other piece that you spoke about was the beauty around ritual and creating this set thing that
Yeah.
kids then start expecting and look forward to. And here's the thing that's so interesting. I didn't really grow up with that, except for that we're going to go to the beach. It's holiday time. It's summer. And Christmas tends to happen around that time. So we make a beautiful meal. There maybe is some form of a Christmas tree, but none of that is a big deal. Santa is not even that big of a deal. So my Ryan comes with us to South Africa for 6 years. I mean, I think for 3 out of those 6 years, he spent Christmas in South Africa. And this was the first time he did not spend Christmas at home. So over 40 years of Christmas in his mom's
Oh,
house.
wow. Every year, 40 years at his
Okay, so
mom's house.
he's
Wow.
used to certain
Thanks.
things happening. His mom is an amazing cook. She cooks really well, and there's cookies, and there's all these little things around Santa rituals.
Yeah.
As a grown man, he was having a conundrum that we did not have this in my family. I had to like talk him down and say it's okay that our kids are not experiencing Christmas the way you grew up in. And there was like this thing. And because I didn't understand, because I didn't grow up with it, the expectation wasn't there that I had to meet this for my children. I just don't think it's this big of a deal. But for him, it was because of his expectations and what he grew up with. And the fear that they're going to miss out on this beautiful thing. And even this year, we're back, but we live in a different place. And there's family who's going to be there, how's Santa going to show up? What are we, oh my goodness. I just put my hands in
What?
my hair and laugh because otherwise I'm going to cry. It's so much.
Well, it's interesting because I would encourage people and myself too to like really evaluate like from a really heartfelt place. Like what are the things you're doing that you love, like brings you joy, you're excited about, like you're like, yay, I'm gonna drive to blah blah blah, like, and you leave feeling the same joy. Because things, the idea of it, I'm like, we're heading to the da 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 da, and then I leave and I'm like, my gosh, that was like so intense. I feel like I've been through a war.
Oh, I know. And I think, I think that's beautifully said. Just follow the joy. I mean, for me, every day we get to wake up together without the rush of having to go to school. And we are just at ease, let the day unfold, and we have the beach nearby. And I mean, I came home to a Christmas tree lit up. The front of the house has got lights everywhere. They had because I went away for 2 weeks to Costa Rica on a retreat for Embody Costa Rica, which was incredible. It's my work. But in that time,
And you
my
facilitate
house
too, like
transformed into
you,
Christmas wonderland.
and you were also an
So,
amazing facilitator. That's part of that retreat, right?
yes,
Just plug that
yeah,
you are.
love that.
I'm like, she made it sound like she just went on the retreat, which she did, but you also are an amazing facilitator and healer.
Thank
And
you.
you're right.
Yes.
So folks
Yes,
know
and in that space, I really got to embrace that about my work. I really just,
that. Mhm.
I do it, love it. It was an amazing time. And then, knowing that my kids and Ryan were having a blast, putting up lights, putting up
Yeah.
Christmas trees. And I came home to a blow up in my front yard, my worst nightmare
What's the
coming
blow up
true.
of
It's
something?
cute. It's two penguins building a snowman.
Okay.
And they also made it real for me. My Charlotte is like, see, Mom, it's like Laura and I working together as a team building a snowman. So I'm like, nice. You're trying to make this okay for me. I love you.
She's like, see, Mom, it's teamwork demonstrated. And can't you see us too in the penguin? That is so cute.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a huge blow up. And I mean, really, honestly, it's like the one thing that drives me nuts. I like Christmas lights on houses. I think it's very lovely driving through the neighborhoods and people really lighting up and call. I
Yeah.
don't know. I love it. It's beautiful. It is one of my favorite things. But then the blow-ups make me crazy because it's noise and it's air blowing that you have to keep plugged in, and they die in the morning. Then you have all these dead bodies on grass lawns.
That's hilarious.
Drives me nuts.
I know. Sparrow
But
was
now I'm
like,
a culprit. I'm part of it.
he's like, did you drive around and look at lights? I'm like, well, my mom was in like driving to whatever she was driving to when we saw lights as we were driving to wherever we drove to.
I think my tortilla.
Okay, good job, bunny.
Time for the best foot.
Okay. um
Oh,
interruption from Sparrow, a little but there wasn't this destination around it all. Like we did see lights, and I remember us, like my mom enjoyed Christmas lights and it was part of it, but we didn't spend the evening driving to specific houses that are on a list with lights. Like
right.
there's streets and there's places and there's things and there's like little,
A real thing.
it's a real
And
thing.
you're in San Diego. There's the Christmas card lane in highway area, because I know this is where Ryan grew up.
Yeah.
There's Christmas Card Lane, and it's actually lovely because they have a whole street and people create the front lawns like it's Christmas cards. And
Oh,
then they sit outside and they make little fires and they have hot cocoa and people walk up and down the street the week of Christmas.
oh, nice.
And he grew up doing that. So when we lived in San Diego, we would do that. It was
You would
very
you would go
sweet.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And and then there's always one big house that has every music. Like you tune into a radio station and the lights are dancing to the songs that you're listening to in your car, and he's handing out candy canes. I mean, snow is falling.
There's a lot
These
happening.
people go all out. It's amazing. And I love this sense of participation and celebration. I do. I really think there's a lot of beauty in all of the ritual and things that comes around with seasons changing and holiday spirit. There's that, and then the expectation that can be so debilitating. And that's really what we want to talk about today, is
Yeah.
really noting when we are trying to meet expectations or when we are following inspired, joyful action, like following that spirit of the holidays that really invigorates us,
And our
and finding
intuition
the
with
balance.
that, because sometimes I'll be going to something because I've been trying to listen, because sometimes an idea of something feels great, but then the day of, for whatever reason, it feels different. The day didn't go the same, and not feeling like that's where the obligation comes in, is like, I want to do it. And then sometimes the next day, I have a child that has different moods and feelings, and all of it is like all that change, even though he loves it, is like in some ways dysregulating. So in some ways, sometimes it doesn't work to do the thing that was on the plan because of that. So it's being able to be, I feel like I'm flexible, but if you have a child that's really not as flexible and has an expectation, then that's where I'm trying to meet. That's where the obligation comes in, is trying to meet
Oh,
some,
yeah.
you know.
I mean, there's no real answer to how to navigate any of this except to come right back to our normal
Yeah.
fallback answer is, what is your intuitive body speaking into? Like, what is going to work for your little unit? Because we have our intuition. For me, I'm like, I'm out. Show me the way to the beach, and
Yeah.
when it's all over, I'll come back. That's me, but I'm part of a unit where I have 3 other individuals that get super excited about all of it. So how do I put myself in there and play along and not leave myself behind
Yeah.
because I'm now obligated to this unit? That's where it gets really muddy if we let it,
That's where it
except
can be tricky. Yeah.
when we take care of ourselves. And I think really coming back to finding what practices to implement in our own lives as mothers
Mhm.
that really serve us as individuals. So I wake up early in the morning and I take care of my meditation, my movement, my journaling. That's me. I have my own thing that I do. Everyone's different. Making sure that you know, watch that one holiday movie that's yours, and whether anyone's watching it with you or not, it's your moment to honor your piece of the holidays that's special to you, or going for a quiet walk outside when everyone's asleep or something. Like, everyone's different, but how to not leave ourselves behind so that we don't get overwhelmed by the expectations and the obligations that holidays hold, because people with families, oh, and the role play that happens, and there's a lot that people are dealing with during this
A
time,
lot
and
of
I feel we need to
emotions.
speak into the how to hold ourselves during this time so that we don't fall apart.
And lose our voices during. I'm like, I'm
And
not obligated. I'm fine. I've been to every holiday event that exists. Yeah. And for me, there's things that I've implemented, like the Breathe Degrees has the cold plunge, the red infrared sauna. And they had a thing yesterday at the beach at Moonlight where they did like a breath works for the community on the beach with music. They're just such a beautiful community of people, and they do breath work and yoga. And so I've been doing the infrared sauna. and then the cold plunge daily, trying to do it
Beautiful.
daily. And it really has, like to try to like keep ourselves, take care of our own souls and bodies. Like for me, the writing and doing creative practices. It'd be
Yeah.
interesting for everybody to list within their little unit of their family, like for you, like what's your, like everybody in the system to list their one top thing they have to do. So then,
Yeah.
like just do that top
Right. Meet
thing.
everybody where they are at and allow everyone to have their moment acknowledged, what's important to
Yeah.
them during this time. And I want to say, break it down to doing the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Give yourself a week over the holidays where everything is shutting down and escalating. But really, it's asking us to step into family and honoring spirit for whatever that means
And
to
the
you.
winter solstice is
And the
something I think that
solstice,
gets
and
lost.
there's Hanukkah, and there's Christmas, and there's solstice, and there's all these different things, and it's all saying, slow down,
Mhm.
pause, look each other in the eye, and find the love frequency, and
Mhm.
then breathe. Just breathe, everyone. Take a deep breath
I
in.
know, because I do think energetically the world, even if I'm staying centered, you go into an event and the energy is frenetic of there's just a frenetic, you know,
Yeah,
frenzy. You're driving, I mean, the parking lot, people were like zipping in. I mean, San Diego's way different than when we lived in LA, but it's still like people start getting more like pressured in general.
yeah, they do. And to remember to meet expectations, it's all choice.
Mhm.
Every thought we think, every obligation that we meet, it is a choice.
Mhm.
So stepping back into our
Refill it now. You refill it.
I'm gonna pause. You refill it, lady. You refill it. You can keep talking. I'm gonna
yeah,
pause
I
my
mean,
part and
really,
listen.
I hear you. Sparrow is getting his water bottle filled. So just speaking into our what was I saying? Now I lost my track of thought. We are going to have choice. There we go. Remember that in every thought and in every moment that we are alive, it's a choice. What thoughts we engage, what anything. And that's a hard thing to stay accountable for, is our choices. But during this time, maybe just be reminded that you get to choose what you engage and not engage, and how you engage it. So I really promote the love frequency. I think that's the one that promotes the well-being of everything. Live and let live, limited competition, and just allow everything to have its moment in the sun.
Mhm.
And we will all be okay. There will be enough for everybody. So that's my little soapbox moment. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it needs to be just room to make your own decisions because there's a lot of things that come into play, whether it's following family traditions. Like I think, yeah, yeah. What we're making up, like are people making up for what they missed in their childhood? Or people just repeating traditions? What are truly like true for your little system? Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Stay true to yourselves, really,
Yeah.
basically. I love
Yeah.
that. What are we repeating or recreating, and what is really, how can we create a new way that serves everyone?
Yeah. And
And
that could change and grow within your family of how that looks and evolves. Yeah.
I love that.
I know.
So yeah, just checking in with everyone. What's your expectations for the holidays and your family, and how can you meet them lovingly? But thank you for listening, and thank you
Thank
for
you
being
for,
in conversation with us. You can see this podcast videoed on YouTube. We have our YouTube channel. And if you're watching it on YouTube and you just want to listen, it is on Spotify, it is on Anchor, and apple. So yeah.
And I think there's a way that you can have people comment on those platforms, somebody said somewhere, so I'll figure that out. But for now, you can comment on YouTube or Instagram if you want to share your thoughts, feelings. We would love to hear from you. So enjoy whatever version of the holiday feels true to you in your heart and soul and makes you happy. Or if you're feeling, I think also one thing I just wanted to note, I know before I had Sparrow, because I'd had a lot of loss and I didn't have this like set nuclear family to land into. There was so much anxiety with the holiday, like so much like grief and just a lot of pieces that didn't get that didn't have a place to land because I didn't have that place to land within. So I think that there's that piece that happens for people too. Like there's grief.
Oh gosh.
So
Yeah.
Can be so prominent. So anyways, we
Can.
love to you all.
It's like a highlight. This is like a highlighter. So be
Yeah.
kind to yourself. That is
Yeah.
so true. Thank you for that. All right, everyone.
Okay.
Just love, always in love.
Big love.